which is sacrament, I shall preserve. That which is sublime, I will protect. That which threatens, I will destroy. For my holy wrath will know no bounds. Honor is all. Chivalry is all. Rejoice, for we, the Knights of Bretonnia, will be your shield.
Welcome back to a live battle today. We'll be talking about the Bretonnia vs. Vampire Counts matchup. Moistened bent slabbing scimitars may be a terrible basis for a system of government, but it certainly works when we're trying to purify the lands of zombies and other undead abominations. This is a slightly favored matchup for Bretonnia, I think. They're one of the few factions that can easily crush the Counts in an aerial duel, so in my experience, they tend to not even try and contest the air game, the undead that is, because there's a good chance they'll just lose everything important right off the bat. Bretonnia's infantry trades decently here, and they can match the fury of Blood Knights with their own cav, so yeah, they do well in this matchup. It's not lopsided, but I think it is advantageous for my fair lady. Now, this is not a meta build by any stretch of the imagination, but it has elements that certainly are. The Fay is incredibly good with her synergy with Elite Knights. Favor of the Fay and all those heals really help. And of course, her Mist of the Lady, her Mortis effect is stupid good, and is frankly probably OP. So we'll keep the Paladin and the Hippogryph in one control group, the Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm in another, one cav unit in the back, and as you can see with my formation here, haven't gone for the Peasant and Foot Squire swarm, so my infantry will be inferior to the Counts, which is why we're going defense in depth and not really spreading the field. If you have an infantry disadvantage, you want to expose less of your line at any given time, but if you have an infantry advantage, good luck, have fun. We're going to test out my audio suppression here, see if my key presses show up in the actual recording. But yeah, if you have an infantry advantage, you want as many of your units engaging as possible. Favor of the Fey is going to be super useful for my Grail Knights or my Hippogryph Knights. The reason I brought Hippogryph Knights in this particular matchup is I think that, one, they'll give me some aerial presence, which is nice, but if you rear charge into Blood Knights with them, you will completely shish kebab them. I mean, they will disappear almost instantly if you get a nice hammer and anvil with them and Grail Knights. So Grail Knights and Blood Knights in a 1v1 fight, that can kind of go either way depending on healing and a bunch of other factors, zombie summons and all that. It changes stuff for sure. But they're both good cav units, obviously. Hippogryph Knights will just demolish. They will demolish elite cav. It's one of the things they're best at doing. And because I think the Vampire Counts will probably not go heavy on the air here, I'm not too worried about them getting gooned out. And even if they did go heavy on the air, I can just kind of play keep away with them and use my Paladin and those Hippogryph Knights, use their mobility and escape if he did go Vargeist and stuff like that. But he did not, it looks like. We're seeing Direwolves. Yeah, he didn't even try to contest the air game. Seeing Direwolves in the front, Blood Knights, and the Red Duke. Okay, yeah. So this is very common if you're the Vampire Counts. You go full ground game and keep your Lord on horseback, get him some mobility so he can summon zombies on Peasant Bowmen and stuff. What you'll often see actually with the Counts is a Mortis engine here. I hate that unit. I actually despise it. I mean, I don't know when the last time I had it in a replay was, but I think it was probably years ago at this point. I find it makes for very boring play. The Counts in general, I think, while a very cool looking faction, they're kind of incentivized to blob, and the Mortis engine exacerbates that problem tremendously. So whenever I do play them, I don't use Mortis engines. But in terms of a meta pick, the fact that you can drain Grail Knight's HP and drain stuff in the blob, it's the reason why Faye is good here too. Not the only reason, but certainly one of them. I think she's honestly a little bit too tanky for the fact that she's so adept at draining the life from both undead and living forces alike. So the Peasant Bowmen, well, I didn't bring a lot of them because I find it really hard to protect them against the Vampire Counts, even when they don't have an aerial presence. Just the zombie summons and the Dire Wolves and the Blood Knights flanking around are a problem. I mean, we can shoot the zombies. The peasants won't really do anything here. They're just there to deny the Mortis engine if he happened to bring one and he didn't. So I'm not too worried about what they do. Alright, he's just going straight in. So I think we'll move the Cav out to the right flank. That's where he's putting the majority of his pressure. Foot Squires will trade well, or decently anyway, into Graveguard. Cost efficiently, I think. Flyers can go over the top. He's committed here. That could be a little bit dangerous for him. Yeah, so we're gonna move the Grail Knights out to the right flank. Okay, he's going for it. This is exactly what I want. And if you're the Vampire accounts, I think this is something you need to avoid. He's going in to fight, but I've got Favor the Fay, Overcast Earthblood, a little bit of lag, Rear Charge from the Royal Hippogryph Knights, and if he loses his Blood Knights this early on, he could be in trouble. Chalice of Potions to clear out some of that infantry, but yeah, I mean, definitely a blob fight, but you can see his Blood Knights are just starting to melt at the moment. Dire Wolves are putting pressure on the Peasant Bowmen. Let's try to get them through our own line, get them into the front ranks, and escape through our own stuff. Man, we melted those Blood Knights. Woohoo! Yeah. And all the Cavs looking pretty healthy too. One of the Girl Knights is down to half HP, but we're getting a bit jumbled over on this side. But again, the Peasant Bowmen are routing exactly where we want them to, out into the open field. I think we'll pull the Royal Hippogryph Knights out now. They are not designed for prolonged melee combat. Regrowth on the Grails. He casts a lot of debuffs on my stuff there. I think he overcast Invocation from the Hack, and they might have got a Curse of Years in there too. So it wasn't a horrible idea from him to engage there, but I think he was a little bit overzealous. And he's lost his Blood Knights because of it. But we've got a lot more work to do. Our infantry got absolutely destroyed. But now we have the cavalry advantage, the speed advantage. That's really important here. So Fay needs to pull away. She's in pretty big danger of getting absolutely bent over by the Red Duke. So let's get her moving in a different location. Looking healthy so far. Get a nice little heal. So this is one thing that I think is really important if you manage to win the mobility game, is take some time, get your stuff together, and get those heals going your way. There's now no real pressure on my important units. Anytime he tries to engage, I can run away. But the Banshee and the Red Duke and all that infantry is still a problem. And I don't want to let him get all of his stuff together. Kind of form that outward facing Shiltron, that phalanx. But I think I kind of have to. And I wouldn't mind letting some of my stuff get back to, maybe not fresh, but lose a little bit of their fatigue. Okay. I think the game plan at this point, he's got Feasters in the Dusk, Graveguard, a lot of Graveguard, so many Graveguard. This is interesting. So the biggest thing I have to avoid right now is the Red Duke will try to summon zombies behind my Cav when I charge in. So I might try to bait out some of those summons early before his infantry is fully committed. And if he wants to summon them behind my Cav right now, it's not really a problem. But it is going to be a problem once the Graveguard have committed and have engaged my Grails or my Royal Hippogryph Knights. Because they hit hard enough that if zombies were to pin down my elites from behind at that point, I'd be losing quite a few models in an engagement like that. Red Duke is coming. I can't duel him, really. I don't really want to fight him. I think I want to completely avoid him. The Paladin and the Hippogriffs could certainly kill him. But I don't think the Grails are well suited for that. Oh. Oh. Did he have a little micro slip here? With the Graveguard? Is that a Chalice? Is that a full Chalice about to come down? Oh. It wasn't... It actually didn't do as much as I thought it would. Considering he was in, like, rectangle formation. But this is what I want. Got him a little bit split up. I think he should have stayed a little bit more compact there. Favor the Fay down. Yeah, when you got Earthblood, Regrowth, and Favor the Fay on Hippogryph Knights, they'll blend stuff for sure. Beautiful hammer and anvil into the back of the infantry. Curse of the Years, I think, just went down from Red Duke. Paladin's starting to get beat up a bit by that, ghostly hoe. Yeah, let's pull out. Let's be cautious with this. We're beginning to swing it in our favor for sure, but let's be cautious. Make sure we get the full charge bonus off again. Only way to use Grail Knights. The beautiful hammer anvils. Oh yeah, Red Duke's in big trouble now. Regrowth on the Paladin. Get him back to full. Stearnsman, rear charge into them. Rest of the army looks like it's about to start crumbling, and we can get the Fay dueling the ethereal hero. Oh, it's beautiful. That's army losses. Alright. So, couple things to know if you're playing on the Vampire Count side. Blood Knights are your counter to Grail Knights and to Hippogryph Knights. You must keep them alive, or at the very least, eliminate the threat posed by Bretonnia's elite. If my Grails and Hippos are on life support and missing a ton of models when his Blood Knights crumble out, then the Blood Knights have done their job, right? Because I invested more in the cav fight than he did. He shouldn't expect to win the cav fight just to deal some good damage in it. So he thought with Curse of Years and Invocation of the Heck and Zombie and Graveguard support, he could do enough damage in that cav fight that my army would be crippled, that I wouldn't have infantry support. I'd be able to cycle charge, sure, with Grail Knights, but they wouldn't have enough models to carry me to victory. But Hippogryph Knights have that X factor that most other cavalry do not. They have a free, clean charge without being countercharged every single time. Guaranteed. And Fay is born and bred for exactly those kind of engagements. Favor the Fay, plus 40 melee attack, Earthblood, Regrowth, all that stuff together, and then we're draining life in an AoE with the Morn Ascension effect from the Mist of the Lady, and that rear charge from the Hippogryph Knights. It just completely took those Blood Knights out of the game, and from there, well, he just didn't have enough killing power at that point. I think a little bit more AP and poison, something like a Crypt Horror, 2 or 3 of those would have actually helped that build out a lot, so it didn't have to rely so heavily on the Blood Knights doing well. Not that the Blood Knights can't do well in this matchup, they certainly can, but I think one of the most important lessons to learn as a newer player in Total War is that just because you go into a game expecting a certain unit or a certain element of your build to be what carries you, you have to be able to adapt on the fly after looking at your opponent's army, because the second you see what they brought, everything changes. So in this instance, you have the 2 Blood Knights and you have the Red Duke, and you say, well, most engagements, most cavalry engagements, I can do very well in with that kind of army. But the second you look at the Bretonnian army, you have to realize, oh crap, I can't win a straight up cav fight. Now I need to alter my playstyle to figure out a way to win this game. You can't rely on aggression with the Blood Knights to beat 2 Grail Knights, Royal Hippogryph Knights, and a Knight of the Realm unit. You need something else. And so in this instance, it's a situation where you have to reanalyze, rethink, and I think in this case, playing more defensive with the Blood Knights, not getting quite so upfront and going for that engagement right away, and allowing your infantry to grind through would have given him a much better opportunity to win the game. But hopefully that was enjoyable and helpful to you guys. If you want to learn more about this particular matchup, let me know in the comment section. I'll try to answer any of your questions, and I will see you all in the next video. Indy Pride, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.